Greetings Internet, I'm Jared and welcome to my fitness journey. I decided to start this vlog to help keep myself honest and hopefully inspire others as well. This journey begins around January 13th, 2019. After going through some upheaval in my personal life, I stepped on the scale that morning and it said I was 315 pounds. This is the heaviest I've ever been, and it's not the first time I've hit that number. Several years back, before my move to New York, I was also around 315 pounds. I wasn't necessarily inactive. At the time, I was working out at the gym at least twice a week, and I worked retail, where I was always on my feet and moving. When I moved to New York City in 2012, I first decided to focus in on my health again. I counted calories and went to the gym 2 to 3 times a week still. I tried several gyms, but eventually I got bored with the workouts and frustrated counting calories and plateauing at about 285 pounds. I stopped working out regularly and didn't care what I ate. Eventually I got back above 300 pounds and I wanted to try turning things around. I started counting calories again, and instead of the boring old gym workouts, I started training in martial arts, again for the first time after many years. I quickly worked up to training 4 to 5 hours a week in various disciplines, and actually got my weight down to about 265 pounds. And I stayed there for over a year. I made 2 very large mistakes. Even though I was being active, I was still eating a lot of fast food. I wasn't home often, so I ate out frequently, but that wasn't the biggest mistake I made, and I'll get to that in a little bit. I didn't realize that biggest mistake until this year. Fast forward to 2018. I'm now back in beautiful Charleston, South Carolina, and I've been working out at the gym consistent 2 to 3 times a week. In November of 2018, I had a sharp shooting pain that had gone through my wrist for a couple weeks, and I finally went to see the doctor. I noticed I was losing gripping strength with my left hand, and I had a bad feeling I'm going to have to kiss that Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu return goodbye. I'm also having trouble lifting, so I'm trying to do an hour of cardio each visit, but I'm getting bored and I started working out less. The doctor told me it's probably carpal tunnel syndrome, which is fairly common in people who work IT. So she gave me some anti-inflammatories. She also said if it didn't get better, we'd have to look at surgery as an option, and trying to avoid that. I needed to find a workout that works around my current injury, along with some other old injuries, but still I could burn calories, and, well, the more convenient it was, the better. Now, I'm a nerd, and I'm a huge wrestling fan, and I have been since I was young. I was aware that a wrestler, Diamond Dallas Page, who was famous from his WCW days near the late 90s, had developed a fitness system called DDP Yoga. I ordered the DVDs a few years ago. I used them a few times, but I didn't stick with the program like I should have. I'm terrible with discs. I do everything streaming. What can I say? DDP had a new book come out in January of 2019 called Positively Unstoppable: The Art of Owning It. I purchased this book and read through it and was immediately reinvigorated. It didn't hurt there was also a contest starting at the time, and my natural competitive side wanted in. The beauty of DDP Yoga is it's designed to be done with no impact, and therefore good for joints. It combines the flexibility of yoga exercises with dynamic resistance exercises, allowing you to build muscle while gaining flexibility. If you search around YouTube, there are all kinds of videos showing what DDP Yoga has done for some folks who thought they could never be fit. There's a video featuring Arthur Borman, who's a Gulf War veteran, and he couldn't even walk without the help of crutches when he started. The video went viral after people started seeing the amazing flexibility he was now capable of, and it ends with Arthur running at the camera. No crutches. Also, a documentary called The Resurrection of Jake the Snake Roberts came out a few years back. In this documentary, DDP helps Jake, who's a former pro wrestler from the 80s and 90s, as well as one of my personal favorite wrestlers, Scott Hall, turn their lives around. They were both in trouble with drugs and alcohol, and their bodies were practically falling apart. DDP managed to apply not just his workout techniques, but his life philosophy of living at 90. And that's when I realized what I'd been missing. DDP has a video available on Vimeo of a speech about living at 90. He also discussed it in the book I mentioned previously. The gist is, about 10% of the things that happen in your life are out of your control. Forget about those things. Focus on the 90% you can affect. He also makes this point about writing down your goals, and that is what I was missing. I'd been focused on lose as much weight as possible. The problem there is that without saying when I wanted to weigh a certain amount by, I had no real way to track my progress. I just thought I'd weigh myself every week, and as long as I was going down, I was doing okay. This method didn't give me a good idea of how well I was doing, though. Without being able to break down how much weight I'd lose per week, I would vary between 0 and 4 pounds. This is what caused my frustrations. This time, I said I'd be down to 285 pounds again within 16 weeks of starting this program, and 265 pounds by the end of July. That works out to losing roughly 2 pounds per week. I downloaded the MyFitnessPal app, and I set 2 pounds per week as my loss goal. MyFitnessPal gave me the estimated amount of calories allowed per day and worked with my Apple Watch to adjust for workouts. I started putting in my calories and quickly realized some of my favorite treats could be up to half of my allotted calories per day. I quickly changed my diet to less takeout and more natural and home-prepared meals. I started doing DDP yoga at home using the DDP Yoga Now app. They have starter exercises as well as an archive of some live classes. I started with 2 30-minute sessions of DDP yoga the first week, but by the end of the second week I started doing 30 to 60 minutes of DDPY per day. I just can't emphasize enough the convenience of pulling up a class on my iPad or computer, laying out my mat, and working out. And of course, there's the joy of showering right after the workout. Today is February 23rd, 2019. I weighed in this morning at 298 pounds. That's 17 pounds lost in 41 days, and the first time I've been under 300 pounds since moving back to Charleston in July of 2017. I can't say it was all the DDP yoga workouts, or even all just the diet. The biggest changes I made were deciding to stop coming up with excuses not to work out, and not binge eating junk food when I was having a bad day. That's the trick to reclaiming your life. Not a fad diet, but your mindset. I'm on the journey to reclaim my life and my health, and I'm not jumping off anytime soon. When I have a chance to update this blog, I'll be sharing things I learn on both my YouTube channel, which is JS Photo Video, and my blog, getfitwithjared.com. So please follow, and I'll see you there.